Ako. Ako.
Oh, okay, very good. Ilang stories. Okay. So, I'm here today to have the story entitled How the World Was Made. So, it means that paano nabuo ang daigdig, o kung sa sa Bisaya pa, yun sa paghimo ang kalibutan. Okay, so lesson first. Please.
Thousands of years ago, there was no land, nor sun, nor moon, nor stars, and the world was only a great sea of water, above which stretched the sky. The water was the kingdom of the gods Magwayan, and the sky was ruled by the great god Kaptan. Magwayan had a daughter called Lidagat, the sea, and Kaptan had a son known as Lihangin, the wind. The gods agreed to the marriage of their children, so the sea became the bride of the wind. 3 sons and a daughter were born to them. The sons were called Likalibutan, Liadlaw, and Libulan, and the daughter received the name of Lisuga. Likalibutan had a body of rock and was strong and brave. Liadlaw was formed of gold and was always happy. Libulan was made of copper and was weak and timid. And the beautiful Lisuga had a body of pure silver and was sweet and gentle. Their parents were very fond of them, and nothing was wanting to make them happy. After a time, Lihangin died and left the control of the winds to his eldest son, Likalibutan. The faithful wife, Lidagat, soon followed her husband, and the children, now grown up, were left without father or mother. However, their grandfathers, Kaptan in Magwayan, took care of them and guarded them from all evil. After a time, Likalibutan, proud of his power over the winds, resolved to gain more power and asked his brothers to join him in attack on Kaptan in the sky above. And first they refused, but when Likalibutan became angry with them, the amiable Liadlaw, not wishing to offend his brother, agreed to help. Then, together, they induced the timid Libulan to join in the plan. When all was ready, the 3 brothers rushed at the sky, but they could not beat down the gates of steel that guarded the entrance. Then, Likalibutan let loose the strongest winds and blew the bars in every direction. The brothers rushed into the opening, but were met by the angry god Kaptan. So terrible did he look that they turned and ran in terror. But Kaptan, furious at the destructions of his gates, sent 3 bolts of lightning after them. The first struck the copper Libulan and melted him into a ball. The second struck the golden Liadlaw, and he too was melted. The third bolt struck Likalibutan, and his rocky body broke into many pieces and fell into the sea. So huge was he that part of his body stuck out above the water and became what is known as land. In the meantime, the gentle Lisuga had missed her brothers and started to look for them. She went toward the sky, but as she approached the broken gates, Kaptan, blind with anger, struck her too with lightning, and her silver body broke into thousands of pieces. Kaptan then came down from the sky and tore the sea apart, calling on Magwayan to come to him and accusing him for ordering the attack on the sky. Soon, Magwayan appeared and answered that he knew nothing of the plot, as he had been asleep as far down in the sea. After a time, he succeeded in calming the angry Kaptan. Together, they wept at the loss of their grandchildren. especially the gentle and beautiful Lisuga. But with all their powers, they could not restore the dead to life. However, they give each body a beautiful light that will shine forever. And so it was golden Li Adlaw became the sun, and copper Li Bulan the moon, while the thousands of pieces of silver Lisuga shine as the stars of heaven. To weekly kalibutan, the gods gave no light, but resolved to make his body support a new race of people. So Kaptan gave Magwayan a seed, and he planted it on the land, which, as you will remember, was part of Likalibutan's huge body. Soon a bamboo tree grew up, and from the hollow of one of its branches, a man and a woman came out. The man's name was Sikalak, and the woman was called Sikabay. They were the parents of the human race. Their first child was a son whom they called Libu. Afterwards, they had a daughter who was known as Saman. Pandangguan was a younger son, and he had a son called Aryon. Pandangguan was very clever and invented a trap to catch fish. The very first thing that he caught was a huge shark. When he brought it to the land, it looked so great at first that he thought it was surely a god, and he at once ordered his people to worship it. Soon all gathered around and began to sing and pray to the shark. Suddenly, the sky and sea opened, and the gods came out and ordered Pandangguan to throw the shark back into the sea and worship none but them. All were afraid except Pandangguan. He grew very bold and answered the shark was as big as the gods, and that since he had been able to overpower it, he would also be able to conquer the gods. Then Kaptan, hearing this, struck Pandangguan with a small thunderbolt, for he did not wish to kill him but merely to teach him a lesson. Then he and Magwayan decided to punish these people by scattering them over the earth. So they carried some to one land and some to another. Many children were afterwards born, and thus the earth became inhabited on all parts. Pandangguan did not lie. After lying on the ground for 30 days, he regained his strength, but his body was blackened from the lightning, and holds his descendants ever since that they have been black. His first son, Aryon, was taken north, but as he had been born before his father's punishment, he did not lose his color, and all his people therefore are white. Libu and Saman were carried south, where the hot and scorched their bodies and caused all their descendants to be a brown color. A son of Saman and a daughter of Sikalak were carried east, where the land at first was so lacking in food that they were compelled to eat clay. On this account, their children and their children's children have always been yellow in color. And so the world came to be made and peopled. The sun and moon shine in the sky, and the beautiful stars light up in the night. All over the land, on the body of the envious Likalibutan, the children of Sikalak and Sikabay have grown great in numbers. May they live forever in peace and brotherly love.